Give us your current frame of NFTs.
So Ethereum introduced a piece of magic in a smart contract. A smart contract attached to a blockchain means that any contract in existence can now be attached to a blockchain. And smart contracts allowed an algorithm or a calculation to be made automatically and verified on the chain. So that could be your insurance contract for your house. It could be any of the contracts. I mean, if you look around you, almost everything that we have in life is a contract. Mm-hmm. Whether it's a spoken contract, a written, me appearing on this together with you is a form of contract, right? So all of these things are contractual relationships that are everywhere. What this was saying is we can record all of them and verify all of them. Okay, so that's a really big concept beyond which most people understand. And you can understand that, okay, if that's the case, then a house can go on a blockchain, yes. Because the deeds, and then you don't need a notary, and then you don't need lawyers, and there's all of this stuff. Right. Most legal stuff can actually go on this. And then the breakthrough is that, okay, we've got another thing that's going on in digital world, which needs solving. So this contract thing is a big deal. We don't even know what this means yet, right? When we talk in 10 years' time, we'll go, oh my God, we didn't even see that coming, right? So that's all happening. And DeFi is that. There's contractual obligations between borrowers and lenders. It's all happening on chain. But what the average person is seeing is a different breakthrough that came out of this whole concept. Is in digital world, everything that gets digitized goes to zero in value or cost. Everything, right? The price of data, the price of everything is zero over time. So that's a big problem if you're living in an increasingly digital world. So how do you cement digital value is you have to introduce a system of scarcity. And an NFT allows a digital asset to have scarcity. Okay, breakthrough. Now, it could have come from the music industry. It could have come from a number of different places. It ended up being the art market. Okay. And where you can say, this stuff that was basically worthless online. I mean, Getty had bought a bunch of image rights, but to police it is really bloody hard as well. So, okay, now we can create a one of one of value or a number and do that. So that becomes the value of an NFT. The next part of an NFT that you say, okay, well, if we give a bunch of people these, we can now identify a community. And then these people can be like-minded communities because they coalesce around an idea, which is this piece of art and this community, which is Bored Ape Yacht Club or CryptoPunks. So that becomes incredibly valuable. It's a membership to a club, and it's your identification. It's showing your Rolex, and it's all of that stupid identifying tribal stuff that humans do endlessly and always have and always will. So that's going on, and it allows us. Don't forget, the internet had taken us from our towns, villages, families, which is our social structure, and thrown us into a big shouting room from people all around the world with different views, right? It's quite exhausting. And we all wanted a place. And what this is giving us is these little digital communities, sovereign states, villages, towns, cities, where we can now operate with civically minded people within that, and these tokens are the identifiers. Social tokens are the big thing. They're not they've only just started. That's much bigger, I think, than even NFTs are. But let's start with this, because this is a way of coalescing humans, because humans like these kind of identification, system of shared values, that kind of stuff. So NFTs are a lot of things. That's why they're so big. And again, that's just scratching the surface of what this is. It can also and will also be your digital identity online. Correct. So what is the world's most vibrant communities? It's sports and it's culture. That's fashion brands more than any others. It's music, it's art, it's these things, right? Culture. The big unlock here is if you can tokenize communities, which is now the network owner is the same as the network user. Remember that Facebook example?
Right.
So now we've got Popstar and token holder. They're all now joined in the same network. So now everybody's incentivized to grow the value of that network. You've now made culture and investment. This was not possible. You could take a cultural marker like an Adidas sneaker, but you weren't making money from Adidas. You had to buy the shares. And there was no connection between the consumers. There was no network of Adidas users. Now, you're about to create networks amongst these people. So what is the value of LVMH, the fashion company, right? With all of its kind of mega brands that people are passionate about, that are status symbols that humans, like we've just talked about, love these things. So the same with music, right? We're all tribal in music. We love different music. We like different bands. So to be part of that network, I could now be a 16-year-old kid and never have to have a job because I happen to get involved in the right. I'm good at finding the next pop star. But if I buy their social tokens or I invest in their song IP on NFTs, right, I'm in business. So what this is creating is a system I think is universal basic equity, where culture is the investment. They're not living in your and I world where they're building businesses and having to sell them and go through the entrepreneur's miserable journey. They don't have to do that. They do a different way, which is by using their human instincts about the communities they want to be part of and which networks are going to thrive. And music is so powerful because it's human emotion, and people, and it's a place in time. And I remember, I'm a huge music fan, and I identify music by its year, what I was doing, what it smelt like, what I heard, who I was hanging out with. I mean, everything, right? Music is one of those anchoring things. So just the ability for musicians to now sell directly and have a direct relationship with their fans via social tokens and NFTs is literally a game changer. I mean, there is no way on earth Snoop Dogg would have been able to sell something in small numbers and make $50 million. He's just not that big a star because record labels, because 80% of all the economics of selling music gets taken by middlemen. So he'd have to sell a huge sum to do that. Or he'd have to go on tour. And to make $50 million, that's a big, exhausting tour. He's no spring chicken anymore. These things are, the music industry economics got destroyed by middlemen, and it made the artist have to work harder, take more risk with capital, which is like, I have to go on a massive tour, I have to rent arenas and take these trucks. This changes all of that dynamic. And the metaverse changes it one stage further. But there's even more magic. Because that 16-year-old kid, because he's now financially incentivized to grow the network and make that song a success, is going to make 500 TikTok videos.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And if you multiply that by all of the token holders of those IP rights, they're all marketing free for you because they get paid in the upside. It's genius.